Welcome everyone to the Training Tip Tuesday Move United session. My name is Lily Jagosinski and I'm an event specialist with Move United, and we are super excited to have Nicole here, and she's going to introduce herself. But I did want to just let everyone know that this session is recorded right now, and we will save this, so if you weren't able to tune in live, then you'll be able to check it out on our Move United YouTube page as well as our Move United resource library. So this is part of our Adapt at Home session, and I will turn over to Nicole to kind of tell us more about herself and lead us through our workout.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lily. And thanks to Move United for having me as part of this Adapt at Home fitness session. I am in my home right now in my living room and super excited to show you guys some exercises. I've chosen 5 exercises to show you all that I do to stay fit, strong, and kind of help some of the reduce some of the asymmetries that I have as an amputee. So first, a little bit about myself. My name's Nicole Kuilen. I'm out here in the Pacific Northwest, just outside of Seattle. I'm a below knee amputee due to bone cancer when I was 10 years old. I've always been an athlete, love all types of activities. Recently got into the sport of para-triathlon, swimming, biking, and running, and have absolutely loved that. But I've done everything else between, rollerblading, downhill skiing, cross-country skiing, playing softball, any type of racket sport I love. And so as an athlete, it's just so important to have some exercises that you can have in your back pocket. And not just in your back pocket, I'd say these are exercises you want to do on a, if not daily, weekly basis that are really important to just maintaining overall fitness, strength, and balance and symmetry and stability for your body, which is great. A little bit about what I do beyond being an athlete. I'm also an advocate for the disability community and fight for disability rights, especially as it relates to physical activity, exercise, sports. And if you're out there and you're an individual that has a disability, you've most likely come up against some barriers to getting access to what you need to be an athlete. And I'm really glad that Move United has created this Adapt at Home workout program. I'd say individuals with disabilities have been adapting at home before it was cool and before COVID even started. So kudos to us for really leading the way. That was definitely something that I had to do growing up, is really just learn how to adapt certain exercises to being an amputee and just, having a goal to be an athlete and making it happen. So really glad that we can bring this community together so that we can, adapt at home together. So without further ado, I'm going to go into 5 exercises that you guys can perform at home. And I'm going to kind of relate it to brushing your teeth in the sense that I think these are exercises that you guys should do daily, if not, 3 times a week, to really build into your routine. And it's similarly to brushing your teeth. And when, we were young and learned that brushing our teeth was important, this became just a habit as part of our life. And so similarly, these are exercises you could even do while brushing your teeth, at least a few of them. If you want to try and incorporate them that way, they can be exercises you do while watching TV. They can be exercises you do while just sitting in the car, not driving, make sure you're in the passenger seat. But they're really important to maintain stability within your core, hips, adductors, abductors. And for me, they're really important as an amputee to kind of reduce some of the asymmetries. So the first one we're going to do, and this is using the Adapt at Home kit that Move United sent me. Thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for the t-shirt. By the way, this is the softest t-shirt I feel like I've ever had, and I love it. It's great. So the first exercise we're going to do is called the sitting hip adduction. And I do this 3 times a week, 15 reps, 5 seconds each. I'll show you guys how it's done. And 1 set of those each time. And this is going to be using the ball that the Move United sent me in the Adapt at Home kit. So it's called sitting hip adduction. Another name for it can just be hip squeeze. That's probably an easier way to describe what we're going to do and to remember it. So we're going to use the Move United ball that you hopefully got and then blew up. And what you're going to do is you're just going to sit down. You can also do this, laying down like this. I'm going to do it sitting like this, and you're just going to put the ball in between your hips, or in between your knees, and we're going to do 15 reps, 5 seconds each. So sit like this. If you can, for your feet, keep them flat on the floor. Obviously for my left leg, which is, I have a prosthesis, I can't keep that flat. That's okay, you can adapt and, just modify the exercise. So what we're gonna do is kind of just sit back here and we're gonna squeeze our knees together for a count of 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then release. And then we're gonna do that 15 times. And that, if we do that 5 seconds each, 15 times, that's gonna be equal to 1 set. So that's one of the exercises you can do. We'll do a few here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. And what's really important about these adductor muscles is what we're working right now, and that's your groin muscles. And something that I experience, especially while I'm running, is I have pulled my groin a number of times. And so this has been a really key exercise for me to do, and that my physical therapist has had me do to help prevent some of those groin strains. And this can also be something that you do in the car. It can be done while you're watching TV. So for example, you sit on the couch, just put the ball in between your knees here, and same sort of thing. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. And that's really working that inner thigh muscle there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. So you'll do that about 15 times. This exercise is really important for preventing various injuries. Like I said, groin strains, super important. Your adductor muscles, the ones on the inside towards your body, are super important for stabilizing, and just overall for an amputee, for whatever asymmetry you might have, just really important. So that's one exercise that you guys can do. The next one is called the Quadruped Hip Adduction, and we're going to use the bands for this. Again, do this 3 times a week, 10 reps, 1 set. And you can modify, those numbers based on where you're starting. It can be more than that, it can be less than that. And the big thing is just to incorporate this and make it a consistent part of your routine. And the consistency is really what matters, building it into your workout. So for example, you don't just brush your teeth once a week, you brush it twice a day. And that consistency is over time is what adds up to results for you. And as an athlete, same sort of thing. It's not just about these types of exercises, whether it's you're consistently doing mileage, any of that kind of stuff. So quadruped hip abduction, also known as fire hydrants, which is probably easier to remember, but the abduction is moving away from the body, abduction towards the body. And this one's really big for the gluteus maximus, so your glutes, really important part of your body, really just overall stability, strength, and this will also help with reducing lower back pain, preventing injury, all of that. One thing I'm going to show you guys too, so for this one we're going to use a band. You can also not use a band, but you probably got these bands in the Adapt at Home kit, and you're wondering, what do I do with this? I'm going to show you how to tie it, which is an important part of this. So what you'll do is kind of just bring it around your thighs like that. Bring them together because you're going to want it to be tight and to have resistance. Kind of mark there where you want to be able to tie that. And then you'll kind of bring that together and just do a loop and then tie it at that spot. And then once you tie it, it's going to be pretty hard to untie it. So just make sure you got it good there. And then what you'll do with that band is then kind of put that around your thighs there. So this one's, the resistance on this is not, I'd say as tight, not as tight of a band as the other one they sent. So just depending on where you're at, what you want to do, I'm going to use one that's a little bit tighter. It has a little bit more resistance. So we're going to do some fire hydrants here. Put that around, your upper, just above your knee there. And what you're going to do is it also is called a quadruped. So you're going to get on all fours, hands below your shoulders, knees below your hips. And you're just going to move your leg outwards like this, kind of at a 45-degree angle. and really just work that. And what you want to do is really stabilize your hips, stabilize your shoulders, keep your vision in one spot, and really don't want your whole body moving, but really isolating that area. So we're going to do 10 of these. 4, 5, and I'll move over here so you can kind of see it this way. And then what you want to do is also do it on the other leg as well. Like I said, helps with lower back pain, prevents injury. And on this side, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's really important about that one in terms of the gluteus maximus or glutes, especially as an amputee, I've found that sometimes I have challenges in firing my left glute. Just over the years, using a prosthesis, has kind of lost the ability to know when that's firing. And so I was actually at a physical therapist's office, was having some challenges when I was running. I was training for my first half marathon, and so actually having a lot of back pain. Went into the physical therapist, and she was working with me and said, okay, fire that left glute. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm firing it. And she's saying to me, all right, fire it, and nothing's happening. So these are really important exercises to just retrain that activation of these muscles, which is really important for anyone with any type of adaptation or asymmetry or amputation, to just build those into your routine to get those muscles firing again. All right, so that is the second exercise. And we're going to move into our third one here, which is side steps with bands. And I love this exercise. This is super fun. Fun to do. I feel like I could do this every day. And like I said, you can do these in your home. You don't have to have a huge area to be able to do this. And so do this 3 times a week, 4 to 5 reps, and do 3 sets of those. So again, grab whatever type of band you're using. It can be the same one. It might be a different one, just depending on where you're at from a resistance perspective. So I'm going to put this one on. This really helps with hip abductors, also gluteus medius. And a lot of these exercises are targeting, outer thigh, inner thigh, and the glutes, which is really important for stability and just overall athletic performance. Okay, so I'm going to move my mat out of the way for a second so that I don't trip on that. All right, now tips with this in terms of the side steps with the bands. I also want to take a quick drink from my Move United water bottle. All right, quick tips with these. You want to do a slight squat like this. You want to make sure that your feet are straight forward, slightly in a slight squat. You don't want it to be out like this. You also don't want your knees to be in like this. So really kind of focus on keeping those straight forward like that. And what can help as you're doing the side stepping is to think about driving your heel out. And that will prevent you from turning that knee in or really turning it out too much as well. And so you can do this just within a small space like this. So like this. And you're really targeting those muscles here. And the amount of reps I said, 4 to 5 reps, 3 sets, that might not be enough for you. You might want to do a little bit more, or you might want to do a little bit less. Just depends on where you're at. So you can also do these with, if you have a hallway or a longer distance, you can also do the same sort of thing, right? Kind of think about driving that heel out keeping it bent and your knees straight, just like that. Really good one that you can do. This helps prevent a number of injuries as well, ACL injuries, IT band injuries, and really increases the stability of your knee as well, which is really, really important. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to share on that one. And again, you might want to replay this or just kind of, do it on your own, look at the exercises. The fourth one is called the bridge and squeeze. So this is going to be similar to the first exercise we did in terms of using the ball and squeezing that between our knees, but we're going to add something called the bridge, which you probably have seen before. 3 times a week, 10 reps, 5 seconds for that squeeze. 1 set is what I've got down here, but again, feel free to modify that based on what you want to do for your workout. And I like the idea of picking, 5 exercises. It makes it a very attainable number for anyone to just incorporate that into their routine. It doesn't have to be, a huge number. It could be 5 exercises that you like to do. So again, you're going to use the ball for this. We're working on the adductors, glutes, hamstrings, lower back as well. This can help with lower back pain. All right, and one thing that you're going to want to, from a tip perspective, when you're doing this, really tighten your glutes and also think about your abdominal muscles as well. Tighten those as you do this. So put the ball in between your legs, and you're going to get down, can you see me, into a position like this, and then raise your legs up into kind of like a 45-degree angle. You're really tightening those glutes, tightening your core. You're going to want to put your head down. I'm just trying to look at the video. And again, when you get up here, squeeze for 5 seconds and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down. And then raise it up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down. We'll do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bring it back down. So I really like that one as well. That's something super easy you can incorporate, wherever you're at. Really easy to bring along. It doesn't have to be a ball if you don't have one, or if you want something that's a little bit easier to transport. It could be a towel, it could be a pillow, something that's not going to hurt your knees. But you can bring that with you wherever you go and just incorporate that, into your routine. So we got that one, that's number 4, and number 5, which is I like this one as well. It's one that I really have to challenge myself to do and to work on because it requires a little bit of balance from my left leg and my prosthesis. So this is the standing hip abduction, and we're gonna do this 3 times a week. Hopefully you can see that on there, 8 to 10 reps and 3 sets. But again, I'm not going to do the full workout here, just kind of showing you some of these exercises that you can incorporate. And what I mentioned about this is that it really requires some balance. If you need to adapt or modify the exercise, you can totally do that by using something to stabilize you, whether it's a chair or a table. And I'll show kind of both versions of that as we get into it. So what you're going to do here is, again, take your band, and I guess I can do it on this. And this goes around your kind of calves/ankles. This is working your upper glutes, outer thigh. Again, that abduction that we kind of did a little bit earlier. And some tips for this is really from a mental focus perspective, really visualizing, contracting your glutes. As I mentioned earlier, I was having a hard time firing that left glute, so it really takes mental focus to think about that glute and really to try and engage it and fire it. And for this one as well, you're going to want to keep your core tight and your hips in the same position. And this might be a little bit difficult to to do that depending on, you know, where you're at or what you're doing. You might find that one side is better than the other in terms of doing it, and that's okay. The goal is progress and just getting a little bit better at it each day. So, standing hip abduction. I'm going to back up so you can see me. All right, so what you're going to do is kind of stand like this, and you're going to raise one leg out to the side. So I might start with my other leg just so it's not falling over, but you're going to raise that leg up and bring it back down. And you want to try and do this slowly to kind of get the most bang for your buck out of that movement. Just like that. Raising it up. And like I said, you're wanting to keep your core tight. You want to try and keep your hips in the same position and not move around too much. You can kind of put your hands here or back here to kind of stabilize yourself, whatever works best for you. And really just trying to drive that leg out. So we'll do, let's see, 8 to 10, so we'll do 5 more of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the other side is a little bit trickier for me, and that's why I said I like this one so much. It's really important to work on your balance on this leg. You know, I could stand on this leg forever and ever and not fall over. You know, I've gotten really good at balancing on this leg. This leg, however, not so good balancing on. And that's something that I need to work on as an athlete, and it's something that you can get better at over time. So this is a great way to do that by adding this exercise in, working on your balance, also working on those upper glutes, the outer thigh. You're going to start feeling it right away. We'll do 5 more of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like I said, if you need something to help you modify this exercise, you can totally do that. You can have a chair in front of you, you know, that you can hold on to while you do that. Or you could have a table or something next to you as well. So kind of doing it like this and really helping you balance. And that's totally fine. Whatever works for you that allows you to kind of get these done is the most important part. Just like that. So those are the 5 exercises. The first one, the hip squeeze. The second one, the fire hydrants. Third, side steps with the bands. Fourth, the bridge and squeeze. And the 5th one was the standing hip abductors. So really hope that you guys enjoyed those and that you incorporate them into your routine. It's so important, just like I said, brushing your teeth every day, twice a day, to incorporate these, you know, 3, 4, 5 times a week, depending on where you're at and what you want to do. But I think this is a really important segue into thinking about and talking about, you know, what it's like to have a disability and getting the proper care that you need, as whether it's an amputee, an individual with a spinal cord injury, you know, you might have some asymmetries and use an orthosis or something like that. You know, whatever it might be, it's really important to get the proper care, medical care. And I've found that our current state of healthcare isn't necessarily geared towards individuals with disabilities in terms of taking us to the next step and really providing that level of care that we need to be active, healthy, and physically active. So, like I said, super important to incorporate these into your weekly, daily routine, but you can't out-train, in a sense, a disability or an asymmetry that you might have. And I think that's really important. And what I want to talk about is a little bit of the work that I do with Forrest Stump, which is the nonprofit advocacy organization that I founded to raise awareness and to promote equitable access to physical activity for individuals with disabilities. So as I had mentioned earlier, I was training for a half marathon a few years ago. I was doing it all on a walking leg like this. Really not a lot of energy return, had tremendous back pain. The foot was breaking down constantly. So I went to a physical therapist and I was really trying to out-train that pain. Basically, I was running my pelvis out of alignment. And, I was trying to work with this physical therapist, I was trying to do everything I possibly could to make sure that my body, didn't have this asymmetry. But at the end of the day, the amputation's not going away. And that's why having appropriate prosthetic technology, appropriate equipment for the disability community is so important. We can't out-train that. So we need access to other types of equipment. So for example, a running blade, the amount of energy return that you get from this type of blade is incredible. And the design for it is specifically designed for running. But currently within our healthcare system and within insurance, this type of technology, this type of prosthesis is not covered by insurance. It's deemed not medically necessary and is denied by insurance. And something like this can cost anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000, depending on your level of amputation. So for a below knee amputee, it's more like maybe $10,000 to $15,000. Or for an above knee amputee, it can be much more expensive because you have to replace the knee as well. And this is really not fair to our community to not have these things covered. Similarly, for someone who might use a wheelchair, use a different wheelchair for your everyday than you do for various sports. And those things are also not covered by insurance. And we believe that this is inequitable. We believe this is discrimination against our community to be physically active. And that's why it's so important to raise our voice on that and to really fight back against the fact that these things aren't covered. And so that's something that Forrest Stump is doing. And actually, we've launched a petition to Congress for the rights of Americans with disabilities to exercise. So there's a lot of really great things that we can do from a grassroots perspective and from nonprofit perspectives in terms of getting people to adapt at home, getting them access to the education, resources, community that we need to feel empowered to be athletes and to be able to be physically active. But then there are these systems level changes that we need to make so that when you go to your doctor or your prosthetist or wherever it is that you go to get medical care, that they can make sure that you have access to the right equipment that you need and that you don't have to rely on charity, and that it's just within the policy that says physical activity is a right for individuals like us. And if someone else can get it who doesn't have a disability, that we need it as well. So one thing that I would love to encourage you guys after you've done these 5 exercises, if you're still listening to me, would be to go to Forrest Stump's website, check us out, and also to sign our petition to Congress. Like I mentioned, we have a petition to Congress for the rights of Americans with disabilities to exercise. And as part of that, what we're really calling out is that the Americans with Disabilities Act that was passed back in 1990 gave individuals with disabilities the right to participate in all facets of society. And we believe that that includes exercise, sports, physical activity. And that includes being able to have affordable and equitable access to things like prosthetic running blades, things like sports wheelchairs or high activity orthoses, and also for the visually impaired community to have access to the guides that they need to run and to be active. So I'm going to share my screen, show you that petition and how you can sign that. So just go to change.org, search for the rights of Americans with disabilities to exercise, or you can go to our website at www.forreststump.org and find the petition there as well. We're hoping to get to 10,000 signatures, and this is a way for you to take action and really to support the disability community and support your right to exercise and to be physically active. I'm going to stop sharing that and just share real quick our website right here. Forrest Stump's website, forreststump.org. We believe physical activity is a human right, and this is something that we want to change. So it shares a little bit about my story and what I did to raise awareness. 3 years ago, I ended up taking on a 1,500-mile triathlon down the West Coast from Seattle to San Diego. And that's what really started Forrest Stump, swimming, biking, and running, and showing that what we need to be active is a lot more than what we're getting currently as part of our medical system. So feel free to head over there, check us out, and also sign that petition. And we'd love for you to be part of that. So thank you guys so much for being part of this fitness session. Incorporate those 5 exercises into your daily routine and sign a petition. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Well, thank you so much, Nicole, for hosting this fitness session on our Training Tip Tuesday. And we really appreciate all the work that you've done in the adapted sports space in regard to Forest Stump, as well as the We Just Felt Like Running campaign. I participated in myself, and it was a lot of fun. It was awesome to see so many different people moving in so many different ways and all working towards one goal. So we appreciate all the hard work that you've done in that, and we look forward to partnering with you guys in the future as well. If you were not able to tune into this session live, we have recorded it and we will be uploading it to our Move United YouTube page. You can find at least 4 workouts now at this point in time, whether it's full-blown 30 minutes of hard intensity work, or it's just more informational things like Nicole being able to integrate it into your day. It's fantastic. Additionally, if you haven't checked out our Move United Adapt at Home page, please feel free to do so. We appreciate everyone's patience with these fitness kits. We were actually just waiting on some equipment to come in, and we're excited to ship out our next batch, as well as we have some additional fitness kits that we're still looking to get out. So if you haven't checked it out, you can go to moveunitedsport.org/adapt at home, and you can register for your fitness kit there. So we're super excited to bring equipment to you to keep you active at home. Nicole, if anyone is looking to find you on social media, what handles would you like to share with them, and where can they check you out?
Yeah, on Instagram, you can search at Run Forest Stump and follow me there. Love to follow you back. Same sort of thing on Facebook. It's at Run Forest Stump, or feel free to friend request me, Nicole for Kuilen.
Awesome. All right. Well, at this point in time, we are going to say goodbye. We hope everyone has a great night, and you can tune into next week's session. We will be featuring, I believe, a roller workout, and so more information to come. But Nicole, we appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much to Move United, and to you, Lily, as well, for having me.
Awesome.